Hey guys, Theater Girl 1018 here, and hello fellow booktubers. It's that time of year again. It's time for Booktube-A-Thon!
So much I think it must be true love, it must be true love. Nothing else can break my heart like true love. No one else can break my heart like you.
Now, last year I tried Booktube-A-Thon and I failed epically. On the first day, I reread Kingdom Keepers 6 in one day, really challenged myself, and I failed. I stopped, I said, this isn't for me, I gave up. But this year, I'm really doing it, I'm determined, I'm going to try this. Although, this is crazy for it to be this week, because on Sunday, not tomorrow Sunday, but it's coming Sunday, Sunday of Booktube, July 20th, I'm leaving for theater camp, so not only will I not have much time to read on the 20th and 21st, so my booktube is shorter than everybody else's, and my last two video updates are probably going to be from my dorm room. This week I have to get my music together, I have to start practicing my audition, decide what I'm doing for my audition, I have to pack, I have to get started on my summer homework, which Booktube-A-Thon is helping me with, but I feel like with all this work I have to, and I am working a lot at the library this week. So, you know, aren't I adventurous? But I feel like doing this Booktube-A-Thon with the spirit of wanting to read a lot and reading all the time and pushing myself to read all the time, I feel like it's going to get me in that working spirit to get the work done that I need to get done for school and camp. So, without further ado, here's my TBR list for Booktube-A-Thon 2014. Okay, so the first challenge is to read a book with red on the cover. Oh, please note that my Booktube-A-Thon is going to be mostly rereading books with the exception of one book. I don't really have a lot of books that I have not read yet that fit the criteria. Plus, when I read a new book, I don't like to read it in like 1 or 2 days, because if I really like the book, I don't want it to be gone that quickly. Especially if it's like an individual book, the last book in a series, whatever. So, okay. So for the first book, the first challenge is to read a book with red on the cover. So for this challenge, I am going to be rereading The Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. See, there's red there, and it's kind of got a reddish vibe. Yeah. So I've only read Sorcerer's Stone once, and last year, one time, I got like halfway through it again, and I was going to read the whole Harry Potter series again. But some other book came out, and I decided to read that instead of Sorcerer's Stone. So I got about to the Midnight Duel, I think, but I'm going to be rereading this book again. Not very long. It should take me about a day, probably. Tops. Okay, so the next challenge that I'm tackling is to read a book that someone else picked out for you. And for this book, I'm using Booktube-A-Thon to get some of my summer homework done, and I'm going to be reading Unbroken by Lauren Hillenbrand, which was picked out for me by my school, because I have to read this for my AP American History class next year. I don't even know. I'm going crazy with this. I might just read this periodically all throughout the Booktube week, because look at the print. It's so tiny. But in actuality, the book is not this long, because there's a lot of acknowledgments and sources at the end. But yeah, this was picked out for me by my school. And that's how long the actual book is. You know, the story sounds pretty interesting. It's non-fiction. It's not something I would normally pick up, but the movie's coming out next year, so we don't know, but I have to read it. I also have to read In Cold Blood by Truman Capote, but I can tackle that later, and I need to start tackling my summer homework, so I'm using Booktube to do that with Unbroken. Okay, next challenge is to read and watch a book-to-movie adaptation, and for this challenge, I am going to be rereading I Am Number 4 by Pittacus Lore. Recently I reread The Fall of 5. Revenge of 7 is coming out at the end of August while I'm on vacation. Isn't that fun? But I'm going to reread I Am Number 4. Eventually I plan to reread the entire Lorien Legacy series because I have some catching up to do. But right now I'm rereading I Am Number 4, and then I will watch the book-to-movie adaptation, which a lot of people didn't like, but I actually did. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, the next challenge is to read and start and finish a series. The same series, read an entire series, basically. So, for this, I am deciding to reread the Witch and Wizard series by James Patterson. It's 4 books long, but they're short books, relatively, and the print is really big. These books can be read very quickly. Next on my Booktube-A-Thon TBR, or the next challenge, is a book with pictures in it. And so, for this challenge, I am rereading The Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. I'm doubling up with this book, using it for a book with red on the cover and a book with pictures inside, because the beginnings of chapters have illustrations. Okay, so the next challenge is to read a book that from the genre that you read least. And for this challenge, I am reading Unbroken by Lauren Hillenbrand, because it's a nonfiction, and I rarely ever read nonfiction. I never read it. So, again, doubling up, this counts for 2 challenges and my summer homework. Boom. See, I'm accomplishing a lot with Booktube-A-Thon this year. And the final challenge is to read 7 books. So here is the 7-count TBR that I have for Booktube-A-Thon. Let's go. Unbroken by Lauren Hillenbrand. I Am Number 4 by Pittacus Lore. The Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. Witch and Wizard by James Patterson. The Gift by James Patterson. The Fire by James Patterson. And The Kiss by James Patterson. Okay, so that is it for my Booktube-A-Thon TBR. I will be working on the daily updates as we go through Booktube-A-Thon and the video challenges. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're doing Booktube-A-Thon, let me know in the comments what you're doing. And remember to like and subscribe. Okay, bye everyone. See ya and good luck.